Zillow and iBuying, not a great combination. Good afternoon. So, those of you who know me know that I'm a real estate broker in St. Louis, Missouri, and we've been talking about over the last couple of months about iBuying and when you have large corporations able to buy single-family homes as an investment versus some small mom and pop house flipper, does that lead to distortions in the market? And not necessarily what to do about it, but just recognize that, hey, there's people playing in this market that are really, really deep pocketed, and they can beat any regular buyer every day of the week. So I want to go real quick at what an iBuyer program is. Basically, a company says, we'll give you an offer today. You want to sell your house? We'll give you an offer today. You can take it or leave it, and then we'll fix it up and sell it ourselves. But you're out of and then you pay a fee. But in theory, it's supposed to be less than what you would pay for a real estate agent to list your house and sell it. And in theory, it takes away the risk for you when you're going to go buy another house. So how does it work in practice? Well, Zillow has an algorithm, and they say, well, the house must be worth X. And so they make an offer with that number. And, are they right? Are they wrong? Well, apparently Zillow's estimate didn't come in very handy when they were looking to be property house flippers. And the whole other thing is flipping houses is considered a dirty business, slimy. And so when you put a pretty brand like Zillow on top of it, or Open Door, or any of them, you get brand recognition and they don't look so negative. So they thought that was an opportunity, and I don't blame them for it. They needed to do something with all that money that they had laying around, and they found a way to burn right through it. So let me go. What I've got is a couple articles, and we'll just go through them and just go over it. So here's the first one: Zillow to kill its iBuyer program. So I'd mentioned in a blog that they were pausing their iBuying 2 weeks ago, and then now they've just decided to kill it altogether. So it says, the headline: Zillow to kill its iBuying program. Zillow plans to lay off 25% of its workers due to the wind down. And so I just highlighted the main point. Zillow reported a brutal net income loss of $328 million in the third quarter, mostly due to a $421 million net loss before taxes on Zillow Offers. The company reported $1.73 billion in total revenue, with 68% of the total coming from Zillow Offers, through which the company sold 3,036 homes in the third quarter. I don't really like total revenue numbers because it can hide huge losses. This is just me, though. You're welcome to think however you'd like to on revenue. Like when some company says I've got like $1 billion in revenue, but I lost X amount of dollars, it's really not that, to me, it's not that great. But anyway, however, Zillow also purchased 9,680 homes for cash in Q3. The company already announced October 17th it was pausing iBuying purchases for the rest of 2021, citing operational capacity constraints. Well, it's not really an operational capacity constraint if you bought a house for too much and then you try to sell it and you make less than what you bought it for. It doesn't take rocket science to figure this out. The prior announcement was stunning in its own light and led to revelations that the company bought homes for well above market value and relisting homes for less than what they were bought for. So they were a house flipper that was really bad at it. And having flipped a house or one or two in my time, I can tell you that there's a lot of people that screw things up in flipping houses. And why this company Barton, who took over Zillow from Spencer Raskoff in early 2019 and spurred Zillow's reinvention as an iBuyer, was evidently rattled during Tuesday's call. He acknowledged that ending the Zillow Offers and laying off a quarter of the company's workforce affected his emotions. So yes, they decided they were no longer one company and they were going to be a different company, and they used a ton of their cash resources to do that. So he should be upset. Barton did acknowledge that the Seattle-based business has been unable to accurately forecast home prices, with Zillow Offers unit economics swinging approximately 1,200 basis points from Q2 to an expected negative 500 to negative 700 basis points in Q4 2021. So basically, this is basis points and stuff like this. This is for people that are, I would say white collar. This basically means they bought houses for more than they should have, and then they're going to sell them at a loss. Okay, you don't have to worry about basis points. So, it says Premier Agent generated 359 million in Q3 revenue, and the mortgage division raked in 70 million of revenue, and both divisions turned a profit. Well, what's Premier Agent? That's what we as agents pay Zillow for them to advertise, our services on their platform. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, but we do it all the time. I don't. But anyway, and then their mortgage division was $70 million revenue, which is puny in 1.9, what is it? Gosh, 1.73 billion in total revenue. Bartner Parker repeatedly mentioned showing time, but did not specify how Zillow might monetize the home showing platform. So, interesting note, the showing time is what a lot of agents use to schedule showings at home for homes for their buyers. Zillow bought that, and at the time, you weren't allowed to say anything negative about Zillow buying it because Zillow was a broker as well, because they were on these offers. So you're not really allowed to trash any other brokers, so can't say anything about it. They bought the showing time. So now basically, gosh, how much of the country uses showing time? How many agents use showing time and the brokerages and the real estate boards? And where are they going to monetize that? But anyway, the CEO's answer did not address how Zillow will move off the homes it has either purchased or agreed to buy. There are 8,200 homes in contract alone that Zillow has agreed to buy, and the firm expects to lose 5.5 to 7% on these homes. Well, here's how they're going to move off of it. They're going to sell it. They're going to sell them. They're going to sell them at a stupid huge loss, or it looks like in another article, they're trying to find institutional investors to back them up over time. I got another article here. What the demise of Zillow Offers means for the iBuyer model. So Zillow isn't the only company that does iBuying. OfferPad, there's, I believe that Redfin has theirs. I saw that Keller Williams was doing theirs, but I don't remember if they merged with somebody else. I've kind of been paying attention, but my business is helping buyers and sellers buy homes, not to worry about Zillow. If I worried about everything that could be an issue for me, I'd spend all day worrying and I wouldn't be doing any work. So it's a story of a couple that was looking for a home in, I believe, Oregon. They saw a house, the list price at $560,000, thought it was a little bit too much for a house in that neighborhood. Then it dropped $20,000 and then dropped $10,000 and they dropped it another $10,000 and they said, okay, this seems a little bit more reasonable. They bought the house and they are installing new flooring in the basement and they ended up paying about $520,000. That was $300 more than Zillow had paid for it 4 months earlier. And it says it's just challenging to predict the future of home prices in such a rapid and volatile market for home price appreciation. So no doubt, but even if you were to predict future home sale prices, in this case, you were holding a house for 4 months, so there is some cost there. And then you basically bought the house at the wrong price. So you're a bad flipper, basically. Then it says down here, Open Door and OfferPad have been flirting with profitability lately. But home prices aren't going to keep growing, at least at this pace forever. So in theory, as long as house prices go up, these companies can almost make it. But the concern is when the house prices, the concern is when they buy houses and the prices go down, they can't make it. And, that makes it says in the article, this means it's going to be harder to make a profit on flipping alone. Buyers are going to have to go back to basis, which is they charge consumers a fee. They try to make money through adjacent services like mortgage and title service, and yet they get a very small margin, but make it up on volume, and we're not there yet. Volume is growing. He said that 2% of home purchases in the last quarter, it's almost double the quarter before that. But it was Zillow in the mix, and now it's just a seller with almost 18,000 homes to unload. So this is across the country. Then we have another article. It says Zillow's exiting iBuying. Here are 5 key takeaways. Okay. So just Zillow's iBuyer business grew so fast, so quickly that it literally broke the company, forcing an abrupt shutdown. In Q3, Zillow purchased more houses than in the previous 18 months combined. And here's you can see they're buying. So not so bad, not 10,000. I mean, seriously. And then it says this was a Zillow program. I don't necessarily agree with that, but we'll allow it. Zillow's unintentional purchase of homes at high prices. So unintentional, they didn't mean to buy the homes at high prices. Who does? Anyway, contrasts nicely with Open Door's intentional purchase of homes at lower prices. Beginning in July, as the market began its cool, Open Door and OfferPad began paying less for homes, while Zillow continued to pay top dollar. So if you were in a market like Phoenix and you were going to use and you were committed to the iBuyer program, you'd call Opendoor, OfferPad, and Zillow would always pay more for your house, and so you'd sell it to them. I mean, let's be honest. You're selling your home, and they're going to offer you, to sell it for the most money. Now, what's interesting is it talks nothing about like me as an agent representing a buyer to go buy this home. Would I have recommended to my buyer that they pay the stupid price that Zillow does? Probably not. Probably not. But I've seen when I'm looking at houses with people, maybe 100 homes in a particular area, so I know exactly what a house should go for. Where this algorithm has nothing to go on. It's ridiculous. But anyway, since its inception, Zillow has struggled to make structural operational improvements to its iBuying business. Zillow's gross margins, which are a combination of purchase price, sale price, renovation costs, and service fee, have consistently remained below its peers. Why? The others are better at iBuying. So because Zillow can't buy a house at the right price, even though they have this estimate, which is hundreds of millions of dollars has been spent on this algorithm, and it still just blew Zillow right out of the water. They say that if you buy the house right, then you can make money on it. Well, you know what? That's been true in real estate since before I was born, and it's going to be true 100 years from now. This is not new information. You took this company that had all this cash and they just basically threw it at something and just have it burn. They knew nothing about what they were doing, and it's ridiculous. It says, iBuying is incredibly hard. It's real estate, but while its peers manage incremental operational improvements over time, Zillow did not. So there's your iBuyer net profit loss. Zillow's just doing a fantastic job. And so then when it goes into this, is what Zillow might do next is it's like, there's this idea of a power buyer. So basically what that is you can't buy a house because there's, the house prices are going up too high. So they'll buy a house for you, and then you use their lenders, all this other stuff. And then that way, basically, I think it's all BS. I think that you'd be better off just buying it, outright, but whatever. Anyway, the idea for Zillow is they'd have less in assets. So they wouldn't have a whole house that they would be stuck with in theory, but we'll see. Anyway, on one hand, Zillow's absence from the market will relieve some competitive tension, allowing Opendoor to make slightly lower offers and charge slightly higher fees. There should be a small positive effect on margins, which Opendoor needs more than ever. But on the other hand, Opendoor is now going at it alone, unable to piggyback off of Zillow's consumer education efforts, advertising in new and existing markets. Opendoor has thrived in a high price appreciation market, driving gross margins to record highs. But with HPA dropping, what will happen to Opendoor's gross margins? Will it make it up in volume, or will losses compound as it scales? Well, when the market goes down and they bought houses too expensive, they'll get crushed. And then the politicians in Washington will try to bail them out some way. So that's what's going to happen. We've seen this over and over and over again. Anyway, but what I wanted to tell you, what I wanted you to see there is Opendoor is now going alone, no longer able to piggyback off of Zillow's consumer education efforts, advertising. And what I tell you, they think of real estate agents as scum, okay? They think of house flippers as scum. But if they put a pretty picture of Zillow and their pretty houses on it, then they're no longer scum, okay? Because Zillow has a brand that they can be proud of, and Opendoor and all these other. They're making house flippers they're making them cleaner, basically. And so then finally, this article here, or it's not finally, it's another one. It says how Phoenix predicted Zillow's spectacular crash. Dubbed iBuying, the tech companies use their deep pockets to quickly buy up homes directly from sellers, relying on algorithms to determine offers, which is an absolute nuts idea, and then flipping the acquired homes for a small profit. Done at volume, these low margin transactions could add up to millions in revenue. It can also, what Zillow found out, it can also, done at volume, it can also add up to millions in losses. So it talked about Bloomberg article, but within weeks, it was reported that the company was trying to offload 7,000 of these homes to institutional investors for about $2.8 billion. On an earnings call Tuesday, the company announced it had lost almost $330 million in the third quarter, a significant drop of its $40 million quarterly profit just 1 year ago. The company said it will be winding down Zillow Offers and reducing its roughly 8,000 person workforce by 25%. And then it goes in to talk about this Phoenix area agent, and you know, in St. Louis and anywhere else, you watch this happen, and it's like there's more media that Zillow can pay for than you ever could, and so no one's gonna see your confusion with what's going on. But this fellow had a hunch that the company's computer-assisted buying activity was playing the market by slightly different rules, and that's kind of what I've seen too. Word kept coming from clients and fellow agents that the iBuyers were making offers for homes that were significantly higher than offers from non-algorithmic sources, sometimes 10 or 20% over the asking price. As these anecdotes became more common, Corbett wondered what effect that was having on the homes coming up for sale in the region. He logged into the MLS real estate portal and ran a search just to see how many listings were coming up from iBuyers. Of the thousands of listings in Maricopa and Pinal counties, which make up most of the metropolitan Phoenix, he expected iBuyers to account for maybe a few percentage points. The database showed Zillow, OfferPad, and Opendoor owning more than a tenth of listed homes. A tenth of all the listed homes. To have them at 12%, 14%, that was a surprise to me. The increasing share of iBuyer listed homes probably won't be enough to totally manipulate the market, he concedes. But having algorithms determining home prices could begin to skew prices and push some buyers out of competition. It is skewing prices, and it is pushing home buyers out of competition. But no one's going to do anything about it. Free markets, yada, yada, yada. The role that iBuyers may be pushing regular home buyers out of the market. In September 2020, Zillow brought 27 homes in the region and Opendoor bought 17. In September 2021, those numbers jumped from 321 and 587, respectively. The companies are also spending more on houses, with their median acquisition price going from $275 to more than $435 a year later, $435,000. But the iBuyers have also made an imprint on the local market. By the end of September, according to the latest numbers available from the Cromford Report, Zillow owned 709 unsold homes in Phoenix, and Opendoor owned more than 2,100 unsold homes, signs of a buying spree. So if you had a company that owned 2,100 homes, single-family homes in a marketplace, and then another corporation owned 709 homes, you're going to get a market, weird things going on in the market. Then it says that they do, in theory, iBuyers provide a role providing a quick sale to someone facing foreclosure. For instance, their entrance in the housing market may end up as serving as an argument for relying less on algorithms and more on the human touch. When you're buying a home, there's an emotional component to it, and there's no substitute for that. When you're selling, you're also making an emotional decision that's uniquely human. I don't know how you remove that and say the house is purely a commodity. I agree 1,000%. This idea that you're going to use algorithms to buy and sell homes and not use any human input is just dangerous, and it's going to make you lose a lot of money, which is what happened here. So here's one last one, Daryl Davis. What Zillow shutting down iBuying means for real estate agents, and what does it mean for us? It says listing and selling is not as easy as it looks. It's not. Real estate professionals provide real-world value to the transaction in terms of service, knowledge, and resources, and a commitment to a client's goals and financial best interests that simply cannot and should not be attempted to poorly replicate with iBuyer plug-and-play systems that frankly hurt consumers. 100% right. I wish people would pay more attention to this, and I wish we could come up with some way, to stop with this. I mean, when you have huge companies that have billions of dollars of cash ready and available to buy homes, single-family homes from people that are basically just going to work to survive, this is not a good plan long-term. This is a transfer of, not only a transfer of wealth, but the idea that a transfer of ownership in the sense that, you're not going to be able to own a single-family home the longer these people are involved in this. My opinion. And then number two was a good decision for Zillow. This is key. Zillow was a media company, an agent lead source. They broke their own working model to get into the flipping business. By cutting this part of their business, they will be more profitable. That's right. Zillow, we used to pay Zillow money for leads. And then Zillow became a broker. Why are we still paying Zillow for leads? Well, I'm not. I haven't. I always thought it was dumb, but and then it says they forgot what made them. Zillow's main source of revenue, more than 80% of its bottom line and 100% of its consistent profits has been derived from Premier Agent, which is agents paying Zillow for leads and advertising. Instead of honoring that relationship and revenue, they decided to insert themselves into the transaction as a competing broker. If every agent or even the majority were to stop paying for Premier Agent, Zillow would go bankrupt. And that's right. They did not honor the relationship, uh, you know, between themselves as media or marketing company and as real estate agents. They decided to be greedy and come in and play in our pool. And now, they got hurt. Is it going to put them down for the count? No. It says Zillow's still a beast to be concerned about. Even though they lost $400 million in a quarter, they still have way more resources than any single brokerage does in the United States. They can still lobby Congress. So, just who knows what they'll go into next. If it's power buying, if it's something else, whatever it does, it'll probably inflate the market. It probably won't be good for consumers, but it's a corporation, and so we have to say it's okay in this day and age. Big corporations are in. Small mom and pop shops, if they're even alive, are just going to be crushed, and that's how it goes. With that, if you enjoy it, maybe you don't believe me, maybe you think I'm totally off my rocker, you should probably put a comment down in the section below. It helps me, it helps you. Maybe you work for Zillow and you think that I totally was wrong. Put it down there. If you like this type of content, we go over real estate all the time on my channel, and that's where I spend most of my time in life. So subscribe, come along for the ride. It ought to be good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.